Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a few incidents where police officers shamelessly abuse their authority just so they can harass innocent people who never did anything wrong. In this first encounter, a man peacefully walking down the street was suddenly approached by an officer who claimed that it was suspicious for the man to be wearing a hoodie at night. As ridiculous as this incident already sounds, the officer continued to escalate the unlawful detainment and tried his best to extract personal information from the man, who had done absolutely nothing illegal. The tyrannical officer even tried to obstruct the man's camera by flashing a light into it.
Your ID on you?
For what, sir?
You're walking around in the dark. It's 81 degrees out with a sweatshirt and a hood up, so I'm seeing what you're doing.
I'm
so
walking.
Take the light out of my face, please.
Take the light off me.
You don't have a light on you.
Officer.
Do you have ID with you?
Yeah.
Okay, can I see it?
For what?
To confirm who you are and where you live.
I don't need to answer questions like that, officer.
How old are you?
I'm 35 years old.
Okay. Do you have ID with you?
Yeah.
Here, can I see it?
No.
No?
I'm not legally obligated to show you that, officer.
You're right, you're not.
Therefore, I will not.
Okay. What's your date of birth?
6/15/84.
6/15/84. What's your last name?
I don't need to give you that information, officer.
Okay. Well, I'm going to confirm who you are, so you can either provide that to me or not. It's up to you, dude.
How do you plan on doing that?
What's that?
How do you plan on doing that?
You can be a normal person and say, hey, my name is Joe
A
Smith.
normal officer would say, there's no problem here, sir.
Yeah, you're walking around in the dark with the hood on, sweatshirt, and it's 81 degrees.
It's not
With
my
a black
fault.
backpack.
The street has absolutely no street lights, sir. That's not my
I didn't
problem.
say anything about the lighting.
You just said it's dark.
You're walking around in the dark
Yes,
at
sir.
night,
Yes, sir.
81 degrees with a hood up and sweatshirt on.
It's not
with a
81.
black backpack. It is. That's extra temperature.
In the footage, the officer attempted to explain why he had approached the man by stating that it was dark outside, and it didn't make sense for the man to be wearing a hoodie in the current temperature. The officer seemed to be using these reasons to justify his illegal questioning, even though the man continuously refused to let the officer violate his right not to identify himself without lawful detainment. The officer did not stop asking for the man's details anyway. Note that the man had already provided the officer with much more information than required, including his age and date of birth.
No. Last name?
I'm not telling you that, officer.
Okay.
I don't have no legal obligation to do so.
Look, man,
Look, officer, no legal obligation to do so. Therefore, can you please stop harassing me?
I'm not harassing you.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. You gonna give me your last name and your date of birth?
No.
No? Okay. What's your address?
Excuse me?
What's your address?
Why?
Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Persimmon.
Okay, you're coming out of the front yard
Out of the what front yard?
over here on the street on Date.
Is that what you think?
That's what it looked like, yeah.
Okay.
So where do you live at?
Persimmon.
Okay. What's your address on Persimmon?
Why? Wait, how are you going to confirm that?
Okay, do you have your ID on you?
Are you going to go over there and go ask somebody if I live there? Go ahead.
Do you have your ID on you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, can I see it?
I am not legally
time.
obligated to. And last
Last
time,
time.
I'm not legally obligated to.
At this point, it appears as if the officer was rather frustrated since his plan to impose authority over the man had miserably failed. He tried to accuse the man of several different things in an attempt to find a good enough reason to detain him. Up till now, the officer had not stated that the man was being detained, but since the officer realized that the man was not complying with his unlawful demands, he decided to make something up, soon accusing him of burglary. The officer added that the man was now detained and ordered him to walk toward the patrol vehicle and also stop recording, another violation of the man's rights.
1411. You're right, you're not. Walk over to my car,
For what, officer?
because now you're being detained.
For what?
To confirm your ID, to make sure you're not out here breaking in the cars.
What crime is that?
What crime is that?
Yes, sir.
Let's see, it's called burglary, it's called
I'm not. Did you see me burglarizing?
California and Date, HMA. It's called prowling, yeah.
Officer? I'm not prowling.
Pay check. Walk over to my car. Put your phone down.
Officer.
Walk over to my car, put your phone down. You're being detained, walk over to my car.
For what crime, officer? For what crime am I being detained?
For prowling, walk over to my car.
Prowling.
The footage cuts off at this point, but the man was later released after being illegally detained and questioned for several more minutes. This incident goes to show how easily officers can violate several constitutional rights without facing consequences. Moving on, since we're already discussing unlawful detainments, this encounter is a good example of how ridiculous some law enforcement officers are. In this incident, Body cam footage captured a few officers harassing a U.S. Army lieutenant for seemingly no reason at all. The lieutenant was initially pulled over by the officers at gunpoint while ordering him to step out of his vehicle. Right off the bat, the lieutenant raised his hands out the window in plain sight and questioned the officers as to why he was pulled over. He added that he was afraid to get out of his vehicle due to the aggressive demeanor displayed by the officers.
Get out the car! Work with us and we'll talk to you. Get out the car!
You received an order. Obey it.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I?
Yeah, you should be. Get out.
What?
Get out.
Get out the car!
Get out
I
now.
have not committed any crime.
You're being stopped for a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest
For
for.
traffic.
You're being detained. Okay. You're being detained for obstruction of justice.
Traffic violation. I do not have to get out the vehicle. You haven't even told
Really?
me why I'm being stopped.
Really? Get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me.
Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me.
You know what?
Get your hands off me.
Not a
Get your hands
problem.
off me.
Back up,
I
Daniel.
didn't do anything. Don't do that.
Sir, get out of the car now.
Hey, sir.
Get out of the car now.
Sir, I'm trying to talk
Get out.
to you. Okay. I'm trying to talk.
Get out.
Just get out of my car. Can you please relax?
Get out.
Please relax.
Get out of the car right now.
This
Now.
is not how you treat a vet. I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're going to treat me?
Back up, Daniel.
I didn't do anything.
Back up.
Whoa, hold on.
Daniel.
At this point, one of the officers pulled out his pepper spray and directly aimed it at the lieutenant. This was one of the many actions seen in the footage that proved how irrational these officers were. Now, watch as the officer empties his pepper spray on the lieutenant and then immediately demands he steps out of his vehicle. The officer was forgetting that the pepper spray quite literally immobilizes a victim and makes it difficult for them to breathe. This was clearly the case with the lieutenant, as he stated multiple times that he couldn't breathe.
What's going on? Hold on. Watch it.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car now. Get out of the car now.
Sir, just get out the car. I'm trying to breathe.
Get out of the car now. Yeah, get out of the car and get on the ground now. You're going to get it again.
I don't even want to reach for my seatbelt.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Get out of the car now. Listen, take off your seatbelt and get out of the car.
Look, I'm just going to please.
You're going to do what you're told. Get out of the car.
Look,
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the... Take your seatbelt off.
look, my hands are out.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
My hands are out.
Don't reach in there, Daniel. Don't reach in there.
My hands are out, please.
The lieutenant had his hands raised throughout the encounter, so it made no sense for the officers to escalate the situation like this. He posed no threat to anybody and was simply asking why he was being detained, which is a right that every citizen has. What made this encounter worse was that the lieutenant had his dog in the backseat of his vehicle, so as a result of the reckless pepper spraying, the dog was also allegedly choking and finding it hard to breathe. Despite the mess created by the officers, they continued to scream at the lieutenant and subsequently threw him to the ground before placing him in handcuffs.
Please, look. This is really messed up. My dog is in the back. My dog is choking right
Get
now.
out of the car. Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist, corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. You made this way more difficult than it had to be if you just complied. Get out of the car.
I'm reaching for my seatbelt.
Fine. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Straight onto the ground. Straight onto the ground.
Ma'am. Is your command available?
Down. Let's go.
Is your command
Let's go.
available?
Get on the ground. Get on the
Can you
ground.
please talk to
Get
me
on the
about
ground
what's
now.
going on?
Get on the ground and you're getting sprayed again. Get on the ground.
Can you please talk to me about what's
Ultimately, the officers did not charge the lieutenant with any crime and released him after all the unlawful actions they committed. Weeks later, the officer that had escalated the situation and pepper sprayed the lieutenant was fired for his actions at the conclusion of an internal investigation. Next up, we have one of the most unbelievable encounters where officers let their emotions take over and illegally arrest a man who had done nothing unlawful at all. These officers had initially noticed a man driving past them while flipping them off. It's to be noted that doing such gestures to law enforcement is not illegal whatsoever. Citizens have the freedom to express their opinions, but these officers thought otherwise. Watch as they approach the driver with hostility and question him.
Marjorie City Police Department. What's the middle finger? Is that a certain hand signal that you got to give away?
Just let it.
Just
Just to do it?
Because I want to.
All right, where's your driver's license, registration, proof of
Is that
insurance?
why you pulled me?
Driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
Is that why you pulled
Yes,
me?
driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
Cannot
I
see me
can.
for
You're
that.
in the middle of a traffic stop. Listen, driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
So you pulled me
Improper hand display. Driver's license, registration.
hand display.
It goes without saying that the violation this officer came up with is simply laughable. In fact, improper hand display is not even an actual violation of the law. So at this point, the officer was making things up to harass the man as revenge for flipping him off. In other words, the officer was so emotionally hurt that he decided to violate the man's rights. Watch as the officer aggressively pats the man down and places him in handcuffs.
I have to say it one more time to provide me with the documents. I'm going to place you under arrest.
Under arrest for what?
Get out.
You're violating my rights. You know that, right?
Get your shit up at him then. Slide back here. Kick your feet apart.
That's my constitutional right to do freedom of speech. What's your name?
Send for a record. Let's go.
After pushing the man and ordering him to walk to the patrol vehicle, the officer then violently shoved the man into the back seat and slammed the door on him.
You know this ain't gonna stick, right? Is your body cam on? Is it?
In.
Ow, man!
And all the way.
These petty actions of the officer showed that a mere gesture had hurt his ego to such an extent that he was willing to respond with violence. As of the date of this recording, the man is planning to file a big lawsuit against the police department involved. In this incident, police officers smashed through a door and barged into a family's house, only to later realize that they were at the wrong address. These officers neglected the need to confirm whether they were at the right house, looking for the right person. Watch as the officer screamed at the confused couple and ordered them to step outside.
There's no reason to come inside of our house. Are you kidding me?
Why are you in our house?
You see the marked police cars in front of your house.
For what?
For you.
Not for me? And you said my door was open?
Yes, sir.
There's cameras all over here, buddy.
Good. All right then. You wanna come out? You want to talk to the police right here?
Step out for what? I'm in my boxers. I'm waking up. What time is it?
Margate's right here, bud. Come on. There we go. Hey, put the baby down. Come out. Come out.
For what? What's going
Put the baby
on?
down and come out now.
You still haven't told us why you're
So
here.
come out here now, or we have to go in there, and we don't want to have to go in there with you and the baby in there. So it's best for him to just come out.
Do you
now.
have a warrant?
Yes, we do. So come out.
I'd like to see it, please.
Come here.
I would
We'll
like
show
to
it to
see
you.
it now.
That's not how this works. If he doesn't come out here in about a minute, we're gonna end up going in there. So record all this.
I am.
Come on. Because this ain't gonna look good for you.
Once the husband put on some clothes and shoes, he walked out and was subsequently placed in handcuffs, as if the officers were sure that it was him who they were looking for. It's also to be noted that the officers refused to show the couple a warrant, which was a violation of the law, since officers are generally obligated to present it before entering private property, unless it's a no-knock raid, which was not the case here.
Bro, just come outside, bro.
I'm coming, bro.
Putting
Relax,
shoes
man.
on.
Damn.
This is ridiculous.
What's ridiculous?
That you just came to the door with a baby in your hand earlier. And you're taking forever to come out. And we got 8 guys out here.
Where's my phone at?
Let's go.
Alright, what's
Now,
up?
put your hands out of your pockets. This isn't a joke. Turn around, put your hands on your head, walk backwards. Turn around, put your hands on your head, and walk backwards.
Then, the officers attempted to detain the wife too, but she stated that she was going to get her son from the bedroom before stepping outside. Meanwhile, the officers were speaking with the husband when they realized that they were not only at the wrong house, but the description of the suspect was completely different too. Watch as one of the officers later claimed that they would be getting in a lot of trouble for their mistake.
Come out.
Yes, this is for real, bro.
Come out.
I'm getting my son. I'm getting my son.
Come out.
My son is on the bed. Let me get my son.
Come out.
Okay. Let me get my son.
Anybody else here, ma'am?
No. You guys can.
Anybody else here?
No. But you
It's
guys
just
can
y'all?
Thank you, Shannon.
show me your warrant, please.
You got it outside.
Can I see the warrant?
Bro, you guys just can.
Listen
Oh my God.
My attorney is going to eat
Yeah,
this.
we're gonna get in a lot of trouble.
My lawyer is going to eat
sure.
this.
Where is he at?
I have no idea. You see them cameras right there?
That's good.
You
I'm
guys
glad.
are.
I'm happy for the camera.
Let this man come to my house for a person I don't even
Listen.
know. I do know him.
Essentially, the officers had illegally barged into the couple's house and unlawfully detained them while putting them at risk. It goes without saying that this encounter could have been much worse, especially since there was a child inside the house. As expected, the couple filed a lawsuit against the police department and later got paid an undisclosed amount as a settlement. Be sure to check out our previous video where we run through many other outrageous cases.